Welcome, athletes. We're excited to have you back for our next weekly podcast. And now we are on YouTube, so I guess you could say video and podcast with this. We are excited for today's topic and are excited to share our thoughts and get you involved with one of the tools that has really helped Shalise and I in our life, and we've seen really help athletes become elite, right? Our goal is to help you become elite. So let's get rolling today.
Right, so we're just going to jump right in. As you have seen on the screen, we're going to start off with a quote by George St. Pierre. And he says, "The key to effective visualization is to create the most detailed, clear, and vivid a picture to focus on as possible." So you may be thinking, oh, didn't you guys do a podcast on visualization before? Yes, we have. And if you are like, maybe I need a refresher, that's okay. Go back and listen to our podcast, because a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about today kind of tie into what we're going to be focused on, which is vision boards. So how many of you know what a vision board is? How many of you have seen a vision board and know the benefits of it? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So vision boards, what are they and how can they help you?
Yeah, so we want you to think about the word vision board, right? This is not just a trendy buzzword that people use nowadays. It's not magic, although I know we all wish there was magic to just snap our fingers and things worked that way. It's not how that works in life. But this is actually a tool you can use, and it's been proven, which is really exciting, right? A lot of us want the proof, and to know that it works, it works. And Shalise and I can testify of that from personal experience, but also there's a lot of science and things to back it up. The vision boards are one of the most powerful tools successful people use to achieve their goals and to become who they want to become. So let's break it down a little bit. So I'm going to start out with vision boards. So we'll kind of show you a little example of some vision boards here as we kind of delve into this so you have something to look at. But a vision board is a collage of images. So you can see on a lot of these, there's a whole bunch of different images and things. Words, quotes that represent your dreams and your goals. So I like this one on the bottom left. If you kind of look at this picture here, there's one that talks about like school, health, my dreams, my goals. I like how they kind of broke it down that way. But some of these other ones are great. You can see pictures, you can see words that people want to become. These are really fun ones to look at. Think of your vision board as a roadmap for your life. It can be a physical board with cutouts from like a magazine, newspapers, pictures you print, drawings if you're artistic, like you could draw these yourself if you wanted. Or it can be a digital board like on a Pinterest board or Canva. So there's a lot of ways to do this. There's not just one way, but it's something that's visual. We want you to think visual when we talk today. The point of the vision board isn't for it to just look pretty. It's to help you get a crystal clear image or vision of what you want. Because a lot of us think in our heads, but when we actually see it, it's totally different. So while you're searching online, I know a lot of us use social media or different things. Maybe there's an image or a quote that catches your attention. Keep those, right? Like gather them, keep them. I mean, it could be like a picture of a mountain range that makes you feel excited to travel. A quote that it inspires you to become somebody better or to be more confident. It could be a photo of something you want to learn, or maybe it's a vacation or experience you want to have, right? So there's a lot of different options you can use with your vision board. The act of creating the board helps you move from I kind of want this or this would be cool to this is what I want to achieve. Because you're putting it out there, and our brains actually really learn best from visualization or when they see something.
And it starts at a young age if you really think about it. Think about like when you got like the Toys R Us magazine around Christmas time, or the Amazon magazine, or like when all like the store magazines come out with like all their Christmas stuff, like, right? We were little, we saw it, we looked through those magazines and we circled it about what we wanted. Some of us cut it out and we're like, this is what I want, and we created our list for Santa, and we're like, Santa, this is what I want. And think of it can be as simple as that, but with these, it's like it's a little bit more extreme. We're gonna dive a little bit more deeper than just what we want. Like, yes, we wanted stuff that was on our Christmas list, and maybe Santa was nice enough and brought it for us. And we're like, yes, it came to life. And it's exactly like that. The things that we put on our board, we see it, we want it, we work towards it. And some of the things may take a little bit longer than than we anticipate. But if we look at it every day and we see it, then we're like, yeah, I'm working towards that. Kind of like what said of like maybe like a super nice beach vacation. Yes, we're gonna have to save up for it and work towards it, but eventually we'll get there, and then we get to take a cool picture when we're there and be like, look, I got it. And then it's just super rewarding. And so, um, don't let like just the images on screen, like, yes, they're beautiful and creative, but remember, it doesn't have to be super. If you're not super artsy fartsy, it's completely okay. You can just literally just have like sticky notes and just write it down and use Google Photos and all that stuff to print stuff out. um and it's just fun because I'm very passionate about vision boards just because of the power that it has. um and yeah, they're just fun. They're fun to look at. That's what I like. They're fun to look at. Um, but some people are like, okay, great. Like, I can cut all this stuff out and I have this vision board, but like, why? Like, I think we need to talk about once again, like, what is visualization? So, visualization is a mental practice of creating vivid images or scenarios in your mind. So, it's like a mental movie where you are the star and you've already achieved all your goals. It's not about daydreaming. It's an active process where you engage all of your senses. So when you're visualizing, you don't just see the picture, you feel the emotions of the success. We all want to be successful. And when tying it back into like sports and stuff like that, like when we visualize like hitting the game winning free throw or hitting the game winning home run or whatever, we hear the crowd, we feel the excitement, we probably feel a little bit of nerves, but like we hear all of it. We feel the ball going off the bat or the ball leaving our hand and our follow through and then the swish sound, all this stuff. Um, and you can just imagine that feeling. Like you can like see it and you can feel it and all this. There's so much science behind all of this. And so when you can vividly visualize something, your brain actually starts to create new neural pathways as if you were actually experiencing it. And so this makes your brain more prepared to take the necessary actions to make that goal a reality. So it's basically a mental workout for success.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that's cool about this is unique to you, right? We can give you tips and insights and how to do it. But at the end of the day, this is about you. What do you want, right? We started off our podcast way back with that question, what do you really want? And if you don't know that, I know for me when I get lost, right? Like I have goals, I'll accomplish them, and then I'll start to think, oh, what do I really want? Like I know, and I'll share this as we get further into this podcast, but I feel like when I first started vision boards, I remember a lot of the things I put on my board were actual items, right? Like I wanted new AirPods, and when I moved into my house, I wanted a new lawnmower, and I wanted items or things. And I realized the older I've gotten and the more I've learned to work on this, it's actually not about the stuff anymore. It's more about the experiences. What do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to become? What things do I want to do with people I love to grow those connections and to kind of grow? And you'll see my vision board a little bit later, but if you look at that, most of them, a couple are travel, but some are experiences with people and becoming something, not just a tangible item. So this is about you. As we go through these things and talk about the science and why vision boards are so important and continue to help you understand how to do this, think about how you can make it personal to you. Because when it's personal to you, it's going to last longer, the habit's going to stick, and that's when you're really going to be successful.
And I think as well, like it can be like, how do you want to feel as well? Like we all want to feel happiness, we all want to feel that joy, so how can you create that as well? So just another thought.
Absolutely. I love that. So we're not going to go into a ton of depth. We could spend 2 hours here just talking about the science of our bodies and brains, but we want to keep it simple to help you understand. But this is really important for you to understand, because if you don't understand the science, this is actually going to limit you to be successful with your vision board. So these are a couple pictures of your brain. Okay. I know some of you anatomy grosses you out, but you need to learn your body, so bear with us. It's okay. We're going to look at something called the RAS, or the reticular activating system. If you remember RAS, that's great. So what happens is sensories, right? If you can see both of these pictures, I know they're kind of a little bit weird, but there's an eyeball in both of these. There's an ear. This is kind of small over in the corner here, but there's an ear here. What happens is we hear or we see things, and those are input, right? We're getting input into our brain, into our body. I mean, touching or hands can be another sensory, right? But vision, hearing, touching, smelling even can be a trigger with this. But what happens is these neurons are triggered, right? So a sensory happens. And then that takes in, so you can look at this spinal cord here. And then we're kind of looking at the center of the brain. And I'm not going to go into all the anatomy names because that will just make it confusing. But what happens is this reticular activating system is a network of neurons, okay? So if you think about little, like a spider's web kind of thing, there's kind of all these different pathways and things going on. There's these pathways where the neurons, or these small nerve cells, fire these signals across our brain. And this is what you consciously start to notice, okay? But what happens is when you create a vision board and you start to visualize, most people are visual learners. And because of that, your prime, your RAS, or this, when you start to see things and look at what you want instead of just say it or think it, you actually start to build these pathways that fire to the right parts of your brain of what you want to accomplish. And what happens is your attention gets better. I don't know about you, but we hear about ADHD and attention issues across our country. This actually helps you with that because you start to focus in instead of being all scatterbrained all over the place. It also helps you build new ideas, resources, and aligns with your goals. So for example, if your board has, I want to run a marathon, your brain becomes more alert to running groups, running tips, training things, eating healthier, all those things that start to happen with running or running a marathon. So a vision board helps your brain train to recognize what's relevant to your goals. So this is that reticular activating system that I want you to pay attention to. We want you to focus on that. The second thing that science has found is what's visualization and mental rehearsal. So we've actually kind of just talked about what visualization was. But sports psychology has proven that when you visualize, this activates the same neural pathways as your physical performance. I don't know about you, but do you want to run better? Do you want to be quicker? Do you want to have better reaction times? Do you want to be able to shoot better? I don't know about you, but physically, I want to perform better. This actually stimulates those physical pathways to perform better. So there's been studies done on athletes and even surgeons or musicians showing that imaging or imagining visualization strengthens the brain's muscle memory, right? You got a muscle you're trying to build, like your biceps muscle. The more reps you do, the more consistent you are, the better you get. Well, the same applies with your brain. As you visualize, you repeat things, it starts to get keener and quicker. So this primes your brain and body for similar real life action so you can actually perform it and turn it into performance. So seeing yourself succeed before makes it easier to be successful later. I'll let you take this next one, Shalise.
Yeah, and just kind of going off that, a lot of the time, just because in our other podcasts we had about positive self-talk, we have a lot of negative talk in general. We have so many thoughts a day, but if we can train our brain to think happy thoughts and release this dopamine, right? If we can release the dopamine, also known as the happy drug, that's what I've heard it called. It's natural, and if we're surrounding ourselves with good friends and good family members and just good individual rounded people, the more success we can have in having that dopamine in our brain. And so that emotion that fuels our motivation. And so it can also be called emotional engagement. So when you look at images that spark feelings, it can be excitement, peace, pride, or it can also those feelings of excitement, peace, and pride releases dopamine, and a neurotransmitter is tied to motivation and reward. However, if you're thinking fear, sadness, or anything like that, then another chemical is released, but we're going to talk about that. But in short, emotionally charged images make your goals stick and inspire consistent action. And when I was thinking about this, it reminds me of a show that I watched called The Big Bang Theory. And there's this episode where Amy's in her lab testing monkeys, and she's showing them different images of so it's a monkey, and then it has on her screen it's a snake, and the monkey like covers its eyes and goes like this, and then Sheldon walks in and does the exact same like motion of like cover his eyes, and there's like a baby duck, and they both go ah and like tilt their head like this. But we're like that. Like when we see something happy and exciting, or our brain goes ah, but when we see something sad or whatever, like oh no or whatever. But think of it as like an athletic thing. If we hit the game winning shot or the bat or we hit the game winning home run, right? Our brain goes, oh yeah, exciting, release, and we just have this dopamine release. But when we make a mistake, we're like, oh, poor me, like, right? We gotta acknowledge it, but then move forward and create those happy, positive moments because that dopamine will help us have that energy to keep on continuing through the game. And the fourth one is vision boards also help with goal clarity. So we talked a lot about goal setting in a previous podcast, which I think you should all go listen to because it's really great. But with setting goals, like the vision boards help externalize our intentions, making abstract dreams become more concrete. So we see it and we believe it and we work towards it. Because sometimes we'll just say, well, I want to hit a home run, but like we do nothing about it. But if we like see like a baseball field, or if we see a picture of a bat or see a picture of a ball every single day, then it's in our brain and we're like, yeah, I'm going to hit that home run, or yeah, I'm going to hit that game-winning free throw, right? So with the vision board, like having it combined with SMART goals. How many of you remember what SMART means? For those that don't, SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So with these two, it helps bridge the gap between a vision and a plan. And so to wrap that up, seeing your goals visually enhances your commitment and your organization.
Yeah, these are so good. I love learning, right? Like I've learned this, but I love learning this and sharing it with you. I would have loved to know a lot of this at your age because it truly has made such a difference in my life. So the fifth point we're going to talk about is self-efficacy and identity. So psychologist Albert Bandura's concept of self-efficacy is the belief in one's ability to achieve goals. It's a strong predictor of success. Vision boards reinforce a positive self-identity. I'm someone who runs a business. I'm healthy and fit. I'm strong. I'm confident. And those are repetitive and become visual proof. So those neurons you're building in your brain are going to start to have those pathways that are successful. So you see yourself as more capable and you're more likely to act accordingly. I was thinking about this week as I've been preparing for us to record this. One of the things I've been watching a lot in myself and in other people is why do we react the way we do? And I think a lot of the times the reason we respond or the reason we interact with people the way we do is because of how we feel about ourselves. One of the biggest crises we're seeing in the world, this is myself included, is we struggle to know who we truly are. What's our identity? What am I good at? What are my talents? What are my gifts? What am I created to be? What am I supposed to do? Or how much can I become? Because there's so much negativity and the world on a lot of aspects teaches you that you're nothing. You're not enough. You can't do it. And then you throw in the negativity and the negative self-talk. It's just a bombardment and an onslaught to make us feel like nothing, right? Which people would say, you're crazy. Like you have a doctorate degree and you can do this. That doesn't change the fact that I have to battle and fight to understand my own identity and live to the fullest potential. It applies to somebody who has no opportunity to go get a college education. They're still going to fight the battle of identity. And I love vision boards because it helps you start to look at what you want and who you want to become and then put it out there. It doesn't limit you, right? This is between you and yourself. I mean, sure, if you have a spouse or somebody you live with or whatever, maybe they'll see your vision board, but this comes down to you. This isn't about anybody else but yourself. And as you come to really understand your identity and have tools to have a good identity, I've realized when I'm in a good place and I feel good about myself and who I am and my purpose, I perform better or I handle situations so much better. Same applies to you as an athlete, whether you're in junior high or college, or maybe you're a parent and you're not necessarily playing sports anymore. You need to know your identity, and this helps you keep that in mind every day. It's like your armor you put on, right? If we were physically going to war with somebody or somewhere, you would want a helmet and, breastplate or body armor to protect you. think of this in like a symbolic way, I guess you could say, of like this vision board helps prepare you to go out and face the world. So when you have people who doubt you and are naysayers, or you can't do that and you're not good enough, or you say that to yourself, this is a way to push that out and be like, no, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. Now I can pursue that and become that. So I love vision boards. It's a great thing.
This is
And
where you
number
can be selfish. Like, it's
yes.
an opportunity for you to, like, a lot of people are like, don't be selfish. This is a spot where you can be selfish because it's knowing who you are and what you want to become. And you're the only one who knows what you want to become and what you want to do. So don't listen to the haters. Just listen to yourself and trust your gut.
Yeah, I love it. So the sixth one we're going to talk about is it's not magic, right? We talked about that at the beginning. As much as we want this to be magic, it's not. However, vision boards align your focus, emotions, and behaviors so you're more likely to take the steps to make those goals or wants reality. Make them real. So science supports visualization, right? Visualizing it plus your actions, not just wishful thinking, lead to these results and who you can become. So this is kind of a summary slide of what we just talked about, right? Like, we won't spend a ton of time repeating this, may be something you want to screenshot, but again, all of these things are science, they're backed, they're proven. Now it's for you to put them into practice, right? Like, we can teach you all day, but when you finally put these things in action and you have the results and you see it works, that's when you're going to buy in more, and that's when you're going to want to keep doing it and build on that.
Yeah, so a lot of you are like, okay, this is all great and stuff, but like, why is it important for me to do it right now, right? A lot of stuff we're talking about, you can be like, well, why now? I have a question for you. Why not now? What are you waiting for, right? A lot of us are waiting for a sign where, like that kid on the bike in the Incredibles movie, Mr. Incredible is like, well, what are you waiting for? And he's like, I don't know, something amazing, I guess, right? Are we that little kid on the bike, or are we going to go out and try and find something amazing to do? And this is what I feel like a vision board can do. So there's four little points that I'm just going to clarify again of like, why it's important for you to do now. One, they bring clarity. And how many of us could use some clarity in our life, right? Two, it builds confidence. Again, we all need a little bit more confidence every single day. Three, it improves our focus and motivation. Who doesn't want that? And four, they can reduce stress and anxiety. And I mean, again, who wouldn't want that, right? And think about it for you and how a vision board could change your life. Like, think about what you want and then write it down and then create pretty pictures or whatever you want to do. But there's so many more benefits to have a vision board than not to have one. And a lot of you may need some motivation of like, okay, well, like, you do it, Wit does it, like do athletes really do this? Like, do professional athletes really have a vision board, and do they really do visualization? Yes, they do. Three big names that pop out: Michael Jordan, Lindsey Vonn, and Carly Lloyd. Michael Jordan, big basketball legend. Lindsey Vonn, Olympic gold medalist in skiing. And Carly Lloyd, a two-time World Cup soccer player, right? So they have these three, they all have different stories, but think about how far they went and all the things they were able to accomplish. Think about how many times Michael Jordan practiced his shot, closed his eyes, and saw the ball going through the hoop. Think about Lindsey Vonn and how she went down on the ski. She did like I don't know what they call it. Like the downhill race. Like, how many times do you think she pictured her like hitting the flags and hitting those turns perfectly, right? And then Carly Lloyd scoring all the goals she did, making the right passes, right? We all are similar in that some shape or form to them. We may not have the accolades that they have quite yet, but we can start to have that visualization process that they had right now. And that's by taking the time to see what we really want to accomplish in our lives and writing it down and having a picture of it and thinking about it every single day. So that way it's something we're working towards and not just dreaming of, right? A lot of the dreams, we have to take action. And if we're not taking action, then it's just a thought.
I love that. So good. So we're gonna be a little bit personal here. Hopefully you can't see too much of this. I think this is too small of a picture, but I wanted to be real and show you, right? So I actually learned about vision boards in my early 20s. I did not know about this till later. I wish I would have known this back when I was playing sports. And it started very simple. I went and bought a poster board, cut it in half, put it on my wall with some tape, right? I used painter's tape so I didn't peel the paint off my wall so my parents didn't get mad. And I just taped it on, I started on a wall and then it went to the back of my door because I would close my door at night and I wanted to like look at it. And then over the years, it's changed. Now I have like a bulletin type board that's on the side of my bed. So you want this in a place that you're going to see this all the time. It might need to be in your bathroom or in your room are probably the places you'll be most. But really, and there's a lot of tips I can teach you, right? I've taken classes on this. I've learned different things about how many things you should put on there and all of that. How I like to do it, as you can see, there's only like one picture on here. A lot of mine have been sticky notes recently. It used to be more pictures, but these are more experiences than just things. And that's probably why mine are more sticky notes than actual, images of things, right? I want to go on a vacation and I actually put the date kind of in the right top corner of a sticky note or a picture so I know when I put it on my vision board. And then for me, one of the classes I had taken talked about how I would feel in a positive sense, right? We talked about the dopamine response. I actually put the 3 emotions that are positive that I want to feel when I accomplish this. So for example, one of the things I have on mine is to learn to fly fish. And my dad, there's a family connection to that, right? There's some ancestors that helped create fly fishing, and my dad does it occasionally, but I want that connection with my dad. And it would be one of the words I put for positive emotion was connection, fulfillment, and enjoyment. And so those are emotions I want to feel, and that's the experience I want to have. So I had just put this on a couple months ago, so this is still a work in progress. But this has been fun over the years to see myself and my growth, right? I had mentioned earlier, a lot of my vision board things were items. So what I do is I keep a binder. I don't know, Shalish, you can pipe in what you'd like to do. But I like to actually keep what I accomplish. So for example, I'll show you a couple of these. Back in 2023, I've never ran or done a triathlon. So I don't know if you guys can see this. This is my Spudman triathlon little bib. But one of my vision board goals was to actually do this. And I had trained and worked hard. And it was the Olympic, right? Like, so I'm swimming a mile. Never swam a mile in my life. I had run, right? But then biking I think it's 4 miles or something. I've never ridden that far in my life. And then you run a 10K, which was 6.1 miles. So for me, that was huge. I'd never done one in my life. I'd done some half marathons, but I was like, holy smokes. So my brother and sister-in-law invited my dad and I to do this. And again, it was for memories, but this is one of them. So I keep that. I have other sticky notes in here. I won't show you all for today's purpose, but I have a book that I keep these in because when I need motivation and I'm feeling down, I can go back and look and be like, you know what? This is awesome. I actually achieved it. And there's been a couple things that didn't happen. And honestly, at first it frustrated me and I would just rip it up and like throw it away. And then somebody taught me, no, you should keep these because if you see on my vision board in this picture, it says this or something better, right? Like if you don't get the exact thing you want, that means there's something better out there. You could learn something from that experience that you didn't know you could. So we won't go into all of that today for time's sake and the depth of that, but I love vision boards and I'm grateful for the reminder. Even if I'm not the best at reading these every morning, I do look at them frequently and I do that routine to try to help me progress in my own life.
Yeah, and I love that. I think I'm very similar to it. I have like a journal, and I just tuck it in, and then like I can like write a little paragraph next to it, and like I accomplished it on this day, like because like I have like a date in the corner of like when I'd like to accomplish it by, and then I'm like I accomplished it here, and I felt these emotions. Like I thought I was gonna feel these emotions, but I felt these emotions, and or like I didn't do this, but I was able to kind of do it in a roundabout way. And I think as well, like sharing your wins is fun too. Like I love looking at other people's vision boards, and I'm not artsy in any way, shape, or form, but some people are really artistic. And I was like, looking at other people's vision boards brings more ideas into my mind of like, ooh, like maybe I could do that, or maybe I should try that, right? And I think that's where everybody's at. Like, if we may be this stuck when we may need to catch the vision, right? Maybe by looking and sharing our wins with other people, we'll be able to create our own vision for ourselves and become that person that we want to become, right? And it doesn't have to be big or elaborate. Just start small. Sticky note on your wall, sticky note on your mirror, right? You're probably like, okay, great, that's all fine and dandy, but like, how do I like really create it? So we're gonna go through these really quickly of like, okay, how do I really create a vision board, right? So one, you need to set your intentions. So like, decide what you want, and you can kind of break it out like mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, and a bunch of other things. But like, think of like, who do I want to become as an athlete? But more importantly, who do I want to become as a person, right? And two, like, gather inspiration. So as we've talked about before, like, find pictures, find words, ask your friends if they have vision boards, and ask them if you can see their vision board, right? It can come from your training goals. It can come from books you're reading. It can come from movies you're watching, podcasts you're listening to, literally anywhere, right? Going outside and touching grass, right? We get that inspiration. And then now it's okay, well, I don't have anything to put it on, right? Choose your board. It can be your wall. It can be like Pinterest or Canva. It can be a cardboard cutout. It could be a mirror. It could be a notebook. It could literally be anything. Just somewhere something that you can see every day. It could be little like the wallpaper on your phone, right? Some people are really good at that. I'm not, but that's another option, right? So many options. Don't limit yourself. Just because one person says to do it this way does not mean you have to do it that way, right? We have that autonomy and we have that choice to be different. Like, being different is a good thing.
So number 4, you're going to arrange it with intention, right? Like, place your top goals in the center or up towards the top, because that's what you see first, right? We naturally read top to bottom. So that's a way to kind of know that. And then surround them with supporting visuals, words, reminders, whatever you feel like you need to help motivate you. Number 5, visualize it daily. So you should look at your board every morning. To be honest, one of the best ways they've found is right before you go to bed and right before you wake up. Those 2 times are really when the brain is keenest and will start to really formulate those neural pathways to help you achieve these goals. So look at it and then take 1 to 2 minutes to visualize yourself achieving the goal, feeling the confidence, the success, the joy. I personally like to close my eyes and just like think about that, but then start to picture it and make it big, have those emotions, right? That's why I put positive emotions of like what I want to feel. And I try to keep that in mind as I visualize it and work through it. So that's a really powerful way to work on things. Number 6, take action. Pair your vision with real steps, right? Like we've talked about this in previous podcasts, but planning, setting, tracking your goals, reflecting on these things. And when you visualize and you put action together, this is when you're going to get your results.
All right, so now you're like, okay, I kind of have an idea what that is, right? Now it's time to put it into action, right? So guess what? Weekly challenge is to create a vision board or start gathering inspiration to create your vision board, right? Start small and maybe I'd say at least 4 things up on your vision board. Put 4 things on your vision board or find 4 things of inspiration to stick on your wall, stick on a poster, stick where you want so you can see it every day. And that's your challenge. Once you have your 4 things stuck up, take a picture of it and tag us and show us your vision board. If you already have a vision board, look at it. See if you need to change it or update it, or if you can add a picture and make it pretty, right? We're always improving. We're always changing. So we're super excited to see what you come up with, and we're excited to see your visions of yourself and what you're going to become.
Yeah, we are excited. And right, Shalise had shared this earlier, but you sharing helps other people get ideas and you're going to get ideas. I remember somebody saying, if you're not willing to share who you want to become, you're not going to have the opportunities to help you become that. It's all about building yourself and then connecting with people, finding the opportunities to help you push to get to that. And it's true, when I keep my mouth shut and I don't share, it gets really rough to try to progress and achieve what I want. But when I speak up, I may not get it right away, but it comes and it comes quicker. So we're really excited for you, and we're excited as you start to visualize and put your vision board into practice, the things you're going to accomplish and who you're going to become and how much more joy and excitement, and you can call it the dopamine high if you want, but those things are going to come into your life and you're going to feel better. And it actually will help, and I will tell you this from a medical standpoint, it helps you not go into these deep depressive states because you have a purpose and you're pursuing to become something. So work on this. It's going to take practice. All right, I've been doing this for probably 12, 13 years now, and it's still a work in progress. I still don't have this mastered. It's still an ongoing thing. So we're excited for you to join our challenge. We also are going to just start sharing these so you have information moving forward, but we do education classes once a month. These are free, and we do give some great prizes away at the end. I promise you're going to want to join. Our next one is going to be on Monday, December 8th. These are at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And it's on Zoom, so here's the password and information. This one's going to be on time and stillness, the hidden edge in your sport. We're going to have some really cool things we'll go over with that one. So please invite your friends, your families, your teammates. Please join us, and we're looking forward to that. So thanks for joining us today. We ask you follow us on Spotify. That's where our podcasts are at. On YouTube, which we have our SW Elite page. And just tag your friends and family, and we love hearing from you guys. So we hope you have a great week, and we will look to see you back next week.
Bye, everyone.